Move on to question 3. How do you convert grams to moles? We actually just touched upon it in the previous question. So, how to convert grams to moles and moles to grams. So, like I said, you want to make sure that because you start with grams in the numerator, you want the for it to cancel out, you want to put the grams per mole, like you want to put that inverted. You want to put the grams there in the denominator to make sure that you cancel out your grams, your units, and then that way you have only moles left, and vice versa as well. So as an example, right, I'm not going to use any actual values. I'm going to say that an element has A grams per mole, okay, and the element has X grams, okay. So we don't know how many grams, we don't know exactly this number, but this would just be kind of the steps you take to make sure that you do solve it properly, okay. So let's start with a question where we try to convert grams to moles. Okay, so we start with x grams, okay, of element, and what we want to do to make sure that it does cancel out is that you want the grams part in the denominator. So it'll be A grams is equal to 1 mole of the element. Okay, so in reality, these are coefficient, these numbers, right? It would pretty much would be X over A mole. Okay, that would be able to really solve you any question that involves converting from grams to moles. Now you're probably wondering, how do you get now from moles to grams? Okay, so let's say you had Y moles, okay, so here we do the same thing. We have Y moles of an element, okay, but this time you want the moles to cancel out to get to the grams. So now the 1 mole would be at the bottom, okay, to make sure you cancel out, and the A grams would be at the top. So when you actually did the math here, okay, it would actually end up being Y times A grams of the I guess molecule in question. So you see these moles cancel out in the first question and the second question, and the previous question the grams cancel out. Take any value really, and you have to work through that. So let's say, for example, we're working with hydrogen, right? And we know the molar mass is 2.016 grams per mole. If I said I had 1 gram of that, it would be 1 divided by 2.016, and that would be the moles. So in that example, it would be that we had around 0.5 moles of hydrogen, okay. Now funny enough, if we took that 0.5 moles of hydrogen, right, and then we use it as a Y, and then we multiplied it by, the 2.016, which is still the molar mass, okay, you would end up getting back to the original question, to where now it would say we had 1 gram of hydrogen, H2. And so that is how these would convert, and it's pretty cool because if you kind of put it all together and you made them equal each other, you would notice that YA is equal to X, and and Y is equal to X over A. See how they relate? You really just move the A to the other side, and you divide both sides by A, okay? Because the relationship is, if you kind of drew that triangle, not sure if you guys remember, but it would be that the grams would be at the top, okay, X, the moles would be on the side, Y, and A would be the molar mass, So then whichever one you're solving for, you would then in a sense work through the other one. So for example, if you wanted the more mass, it would be x over y. It's kind of like that. If you wanted the moles, it would be x over a. And then if you wanted the grams, it'd be y times a. So this is kind of like the relationship triangle here. If you were ever confused, hopefully we kind of addressed the whole situation of how to convert between each other. So yeah, let's see how they did. They talk about exactly the grams are canceling out, and then they did the same thing here where they converted back, and you notice that there's still, you start with 25 grams, you end up with 25 grams, because exactly that's what you should be ending up with. Okay, so this is correct. I think the point to emphasize here is that when you are solving for like grams, moles, and stuff, when you convert back without making any changes to the grams and the moles, you should end up with the same value for the grams and moles. That you will not see any loss of, I guess, product when you keep converting back and forth. Okay. So let's move on to question 4.